What's going on, everybody? It's Aaron Duncan here, back again with another Panthers video brought to you by Necessary Blunt, the Sports Talk. And this is post-draft reactions and comments, news and updates. And we got some things to talk about because we all know we got our dream offensive lineman in the draft. Ickey Ekwonu fell to the Panthers, at number 6, and it was just crazy. We had the pick of the litter of any tackle in this draft, and we decided to go with Ickey, the hometown kid, the hometown hero, Panthers fan, Charlotte native, went to NC State. You know, he's Carolina raised, whatever you want to call it. A more ideal scenario couldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? For us to get an offensive lineman, we've been hurting for a possible left tackle, a cornerstone for some time. You guys know the history. I keep telling you, we've had a different starting left tackle ever since Jordan Gross retired. And we finally got Ickey now to hopefully plug into that spot. But some people are starting to raise some questions about where exactly could Ickey play, because he has some versatility to play different places on the offensive line. So in this video, we're going to talk about some different offensive line combinations. I'm going to propose some different scenarios, and I want you guys' feedback and comments on it just to see what is the best lineup we can have for this offensive line. But before we get into that any further, you guys make sure you are subscribed down below and hit the bell icon, because I do recap and analysis of the Panthers. I have different discussions, talk about different things just like this, and I give analysis, film breakdowns, podcasts and live streams, giveaways, and all kind of stuff. So I got a lot of stuff planned for you guys, especially this offseason leading up with all these new changes. So you guys make sure you are subscribed, hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss anything. But also, get a video a thumbs up. Get a video thumbs up, please, pretty please, because it doesn't cost you a thing. It only takes 1 second. But now that that's out the way, let's go ahead and get into it, because I want you guys' opinion, first of all, before I break this stuff down. What do you think would be a good place to put Ickey Ekwonu? Some people just say play him at left tackle. I know he has some work to do on pass blocking per se, but go ahead and play him. That's what you drafted him for. Let him be. Some people think he should play somewhere. So let me know down below in the comments, where do you think Ickey Ekwonu should be, his position on this offensive line as a starter? Let me know. So we all know Matt Rule is a guy that tends to play guys out of place. You know, Brady Christensen, he was the highest rated PFF left tackle coming out of college last year, but they decided to want to force him at guard because they thought he was too small because of his arms. But they used to put him all over the place. You know, Pat Elflein, he played some center in his last year, but he also was the starting guard, even though he didn't play that great. They floated Taylor Moton playing some left tackle when we had those injuries. So they're good about playing guys in any place that it may not be the right place, but they love versatility, clearly. That's a Matt Rule thing. He loves guys that can swing. He loves guys that can play multiple positions. And I think that's a part of the reason why they play Ickey. It seems like Ickey just has that nastiness and that versatility that they're looking to have as far as a mindset change. If you see a pattern of the guys we picked up, like Bozeman and Corbett, these are guys that are smash mouth, hard-nosed guys that want to get lean on some of these guys, run the ball downhill, lean on some of these defenses, push them backwards. We got the size and the beef and the nastiness to do that. But where should Ickey play? And I want to go ahead and play a couple. Let me paint a picture first of all, because we know Bradley Bozeman, we brought him in from the Baltimore Ravens. He was a starting center for them last year. But every year up until last year, he played left guard. Now, it wasn't as great, but he was still serviceable, but he had a great year at center last year. I went to PFF and checked out some of his ratings. He played over 1,000 snaps at the left guard position, only had 2 penalties and 2 sacks allowed. Those were middle of the road, and his overall grades was 64.3, which is pretty solid for PFF. Pass blocking 62, run blocking 63.3. That was him at left guard, which is a position that, like I said, he played most of his career. He went to Alabama, played that also. However, this past year when the Ravens moved him to center, he had over 1,100 offensive snaps, only 1 penalty, and 3 sacks allowed at the center position. But look at those grades. They're in the green zone now. Overall, he was a 73.3. His pass blocking was a 73.8. Run blocking was 70.7. Now, I typically don't lean on PFF, but I use them when there's guys that I don't have a chance to really watch film on. I only really watch film on the guys on our team. So when it comes to scouting guys from outside sources, PFF is a good source to look at, but they're not the be-all, end-all. So I just like to use that for a point of reference, because those ratings are pretty good, but it's not a huge, it's a 10-point drop off, but he's obviously serviceable at left guard. So I want to paint this picture because Bozeman can either play left guard or center. And we know we had Brady Christensen that came in. They tried to play a left guard and left tackle. We know Elflein played some left guard, but ended up playing pretty serviceable and a lot better at the center position, believe it or not. So is there certain things that they can do to plug and play? Because Ickey can play a couple different positions too. So let's go ahead and look at these couple scenarios that I painted for you guys. So let's take a look at lineup A. And if you're looking from left to right, I got Ekwonu at left tackle, either Christensen, Jordan, or Elflein at left guard. And this is what I think the competition will probably come down to. You got Bozeman at center, his best position that he played last year. Corbett, obviously, at the right guard, and Moten, our mainstay, at right tackle. Now, like I said, this is, I think, is the most likely lineup. Now, I don't know who's going to be that starter at left guard. Obviously, Christensen, Jordan, Elfin can all play, and I think they're all going to compete. Obviously, Jordan will be back. Christensen is the third-round pick that we had last year, who Matt Rule felt like was a second-round guard, third-round tackle. And Elfin, who they got money, he's making a decent amount of money, so he's always going to be in the mix. If not, he'll be a swing guy that can be a backup. But I still think it's going to come down to this likely lineup. So let me know how you feel about lineup A, because you're putting Ekwonu at left tackle, and this is the guy. This is going to be our cornerstone guy for years to come. I know people, they love him in the run game. I love him in the run game too. At pass blocking, some people say that he has a little bit of work that needs to be done, but good coaching to do it, to be the good fix for him, because he shows a lot of potential and immeasurables for it. And we have James Campion, one of the best offensive lineman coaches in the league. So I have no doubt in our offensive line coaches to get them up to speed. But let me know how you guys feel about this lineup, because you got Bozeman at his best position, Corbett and Moten. I don't think those are going to change. I think those are pretty much locked in. I think that left side is going to be what could possibly be fluid, but I think more than likely this is the lineup that we're going with. So let me know how you feel about lineup A. So here's lineup B coming in hot right here from left to right. You got Ekwonu at left tackle, Bozeman at left guard, Elfin at center, Corbett at right guard, Moten at right tackle, as I had beforehand. Now, the thought process behind this lineup, Pat Elfin did not play bad at center. He's a solid job at center. And then Bozeman, like I said, he has most of his experience is at left guard. He didn't play as good as left guard as he did at center last year, but in a different system, maybe different things can happen. He can play better. He's a serviceable left guard. You put him there. That way you have veteran experience all the way across the board. And, of course, Ickey at left tackle, leaving him at the position that you probably drafted him for, letting him be that day one starter, not even messing around with it. How do you feel about this one? Because you're turning a strength, which would be at center, to almost like serviceable, and then left guard and serviceable, versus every other on the other lineup I showed you. We pretty much have strength at 4 of the 5 positions, and then an iffy guy at left guard, which will be whoever wins that competition. At least you would have competition. This one, I don't think this will be the likely scenario, but this is something that could happen depending on injuries and stuff, the way it plays out, knock on wood, because injuries do happen along the offensive line. This is why it's good to have versatile guys, but I think this is a potential lineup, not the most likely, but one that's potential. So let me know how you feel about lineup B. Obviously weighing it against lineup A. I got 2 more lineups to show you, so keep that in mind. Here's lineup C. Now, these are what people have floated around, because Brady Christensen, people are saying he deserves a chance to show if he can be the franchise left tackle. You put a 3rd-round pick in him. You gave him limited snaps at left tackle, but with Ekwonu being able to play guard, this could be a potential lineup where you let Christensen be the solid left tackle, but you have a beast of an interior 3, and obviously Moten at the right tackle. Because Christensen, we know, he has the pedigree of playing left tackle in college, but he's just a little bit undersized. Matt Rule's a little skeptical of the arm length, but he did pretty good against some speed rushers like Shaq Barrett and stuff like that. I had a video where I broke down some of his performances. You can check it up at top or on the rest of the channel. But do you put Ekwonu at left guard if you don't feel too great about him playing left tackle against some of these beast DNs in the NFC South? Obviously, you got Cam Jordan, Shaq Barrett, JPP. There's some guys in here that can wreak some havoc, and obviously, you want to make sure that you're setting your young guy up for success, and you don't want him to get too far over his head. Some people just feel like you got to throw him in there, take his lumps. As a rookie left tackle, he's not going to be locked down anyway from day one. It rarely happens. Let him get in there and take his lumps. But this is also a potential lineup that don't sleep, that this could potentially happen if they feel strongly about Christensen. But I think that Matt Rule, as the head coach, ultimately, you know how stuck in his ways he is as far as Christensen being a guard. And obviously, I think he likes Ickey enough that they would, since they invested so high in Ickey, they would most likely stick him at left tackle. But there's a lot of people that like the idea of these two at left tackle and left guard versus vice versa. And I think that's going to be probably what it comes down to. In the ideal scenario for Matt Rule, Christensen starts at guard, Ekwonu at left tackle, not vice versa, but there's a lot of fans. So let me know how you guys feel about lineup A, B, or C. Which one do you think we should go with? Now, we do have a big decision to make in a dilemma with this thing, but it's a good dilemma. We finally have solid pieces that we can move around and play to their strengths. Also, maybe place to the other position that they may not be as strong at, but they're definitely serviceable. So when injuries happen, we'll be just fine and it won't completely collapse. We also have the depth of guys, obviously, like Dennis Daly and some of the rookies that we drafted. And worst case scenario, any of these guys that don't end up in the starting lineup, they can be backups and plug and play as needed. Nevertheless, we have depth. That's the good thing. Depth and talent up top, not just a bunch of average guys. We have guys that are strong at certain positions to the point that we're trying to figure out how to get these guys on the field. That's a problem that the Panthers don't typically have. We're not really worrying about how to get the talent that we do have on the field. We're usually just trying to scrape and scrap and skrilla for what we can get when it comes to offensive line. Shopping at the Dollar Tree. Those days are over, thank goodness, and we finally drafted a left tackle high. I think that is the first in Panthers history that we've done this thing. So you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about lineup A, B, or C. Do you think Ickey should stick to left tackle, period, and you just figure out that left guard position? Do you think they should put Ickey at left guard, give Christensen a chance at left tackle? Let me know down below. Without further ado, I'm Aaron Duncan signing off for the Blunt Sports Talk. I'll see you next time. Peace.